2013 has been a revolutionizing year in gaming, with so many amazing launches of titles such as BioShock Infinite, Metro Last Light, The Last of Us, Crysis 3, GTA 5, and many more. In honor of 2013 ending, today I will be going through the top 25 upcoming games of 2014 and 2015. Most of these titles will be on the Xbox One and PS4, excluding a few titles, but I do want to make it clear this is my top 25. Not everyone will agree with this list, but make sure you tell me what games you're looking forward to the most in the comment section below. Before we start, I do want to acknowledge a couple of games that didn't quite make my list, either because I'm not interested in the game, I haven't played any of the preceding titles, or it just doesn't fit my taste as a gamer. These games are Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, Uncharted 4, Dragon Age Inquisition, Mad Max, and Cyberpunk 2077. Now let's begin with the top 25. Number 25, Homefront 2. After playing Homefront 1, I really didn't know what to think, as the story honestly had maybe one of the worst endings in gaming history in my personal opinion, but it did have many pros such as a great multiplayer, and most of the story was fun except for a few moments where it felt very dull, where it was supposed to have an emotional touch. But with Homefront 2, I'm very optimistic, as there's a new company coming in, as THQ is not making this one. It will be made by Crytek, the makers of Crysis, so it will be interesting to see what they do with this franchise moving on. Number 24. Battlefield 5. With the release of Battlefield 4 just coming months ago, there's already discussion on Battlefield 5. The executives over at DICE have already said that they are planning on adding more destruction to the next upcoming Battlefield games, which I guess makes it even more realistic to what Battlefield already is. Looking at Battlefield 4 with the destruction of that building in Shanghai, I don't know exactly they can do more, but it'll be interesting seeing what they can do with the next gen consoles. Number 23. Dying Light. After seeing the VGX Awards presentation, I wasn't exactly sure if I was excited or just a little bit annoyed to see another zombie game in the making, but this game looks like it will be more like a Dead Rising game in the day and more like a World War Z type game at night. But the question is, will this be a win or a lose game, as there's just so many zombie games out there, and you know, I think that zombie games need to start having more twists to them because they're kind of getting generic. Number 22. Assassin's Creed 5 and Assassin's Creed 6. There's no denying that the Assassin's Creed franchise is still alive, but it is starting to fall in my opinion. Ever since they began making an Assassin's Creed title every single year, I kinda got tired of buying every single one, and I felt that it wasn't worth the money. Paying $60 for a game that I only played for a couple of days, so it is going to be interesting if Ubisoft can kinda capture the old energy that the past games like Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed Revelations had, in my opinion. Number 21. Evil Within. Being developed by Tango Gameworks, this will be an upcoming survival horror game as you take on the role of Detective Sebastian Castellano as he explores the scene of a mass murder. He discovers that this is much more than a murder, as he battles a mysterious force in which monsters are wandering about and the scenery is a world of death. Basically, if you enjoy horror games, this will be a must-want in 2014. Number 20. The Order 1886. Set in an alternate history where an old order of knights keep all the world safe from half-bred monsters who are a combination of animal and man, the game features 4 main protagonists from the same squad who each has a given name and the adopted name of one of the original knights. The Order 1886 introduces players to a unique vision of Victorian-era London, where man uses his advanced technology to battle powerful and ancient half-bred monsters. This game will be released in 2014 as a PS4 exclusive. Number 19. Mass Effect 4. Not much is known about the next Mass Effect game, but it has been confirmed by BioWare that the next game is in development, and the next installment will have a new storyline, new characters, and a new theme to explore the galaxy. The true question that should be asked is, will this next installment be able to capture the same essence the past 3 titles did? Number 18. Mirror's Edge 2. Personally, what I loved about the original Mirror's Edge was how unique it was at the time and how society was displayed in the dystopian society. This next installment is said to be a prequel, but once again focusing on the main character, Faith. Number 17. Infamous Second Son. Set 7 years after the events of Infamous 2, the player will take on the role of Delson Rowe, a 24-year-old graffiti artist with no real direction in life. One day, Delson witnesses a bus crash and attempts to help. In the process, he comes in contact with a conduit, and his own hidden conduit abilities awaken. With his new abilities and his older brother Reggie, a police officer, Delson dedicates himself to fighting back against the oppressive Department of Unified Protection, as well as other conduits such as Abigail Fetchwalker. Number 16. Game of Thrones and Tales from the Borderlands. Not much is known about these two upcoming games, but all that needs to be said is that Telltale Games is developing. After seeing what they did with The Walking Dead, winning Game of the Year and basically delivering one of the greatest stories in gaming history, most people are expecting another great and fantastic story for both of these titles. Number 15. Halo. No longer a trilogy but a saga, we will once again follow the story of Master Chief in the sequel to Halo 4, not named Halo 5, but Halo. This next title is said to be much darker compared to its preceding titles. Hopefully this time around 343 Industries can deliver a great story, as I found Halo 4's story and gameplay to be somewhat dull compared to Bungie's Halo titles. Number 14. Thief. A Dishonored-like game, Thief takes on the role of Garrett, a master thief who has been away from his hometown for a long time, returns to it, a city named The City, and finds it ruled over a tyrant called the Baron. While he is infested by a plague, the rich continue to live on good fortune, and Garrett intends to exploit the situation to his favor. Number 13. Far Cry 4. After experiencing the masterpiece of Far Cry 3, I personally cannot wait to see what Ubisoft does with Far Cry 4. Earlier in 2013, a potential teaser image with the date April 4th, 2014 was shown. Many people believed at the time for it to be a release date. Now I believe it is an announcement date. In July, Ubisoft Senior Vice President of Marketing and Sales Tony Key told GameSpot that Far Cry 4 had to happen based on the success of Far Cry 3. Multiple reports have come out saying that Far Cry 4 is in full development. Number 12. Dark Souls 2. This story will revolve around a cursed character trying to find a cure for their agony, and will also be emotional and involved in the fashion of Demon Souls story. This title looks to be another phenomenal open-world RPG in the franchise, as the gameplay is said to be similar to how it was in the original Dark Souls. Number 11. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, and The Phantom Pain. Split into two parts, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes will be released first, serving as a prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. The premise of Ground Zeroes is that Snake is back. He works to infiltrate an American black site on Cuban soil called Camp Omega. The events from Ground Zero will result in Snake's characterization undergoing a major change. In The Phantom Pain, the aftermath of the events of Ground Zeroes, Snake falls into a coma after the destruction of Mother Base, MSF's base of operations. He wakes up 9 years later from his coma and forms a new mercenary group, the Diamond Dogs. Now assuming the codename Punish Snake, he ventures into Afghanistan during the Soviet War to track down the men responsible for MSF's destruction. Along the way, he finds out a plot by the Cypher organization to develop a weapon with the potential to surpass even the Metal Gear system. Now finally down to our top 10. Number 10 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The conclusion to the story of Geralt of Rivia. The world is in chaos, the air is thick with tension and the smoke of burnt villages. The fearsome empire of Nilfgaard has struck again, ravaging the hapless northern kingdoms, and it's up to Geralt to stop them. The Witcher 3 is said to have over 100 hours of content, so don't expect this title to be any bit less action-packed than its preceders. Number 9. Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead 3. Both titles expected to be released sometime in the near future. Gamers have been waiting patiently for any news on the future of these franchises, but Valve has stayed very quiet. In August 2013, Left 4 Dead was leaked during a tour in Valve, confirming the existence of this game. On the other hand, Half-Life 3 received pretty big news in August of 2013 also, when a Reddit user who had also recently toured Valve headquarters held a Q&A session. When asked about Half-Life 3, he explained he asked the tour guide, who said, "We only have elements of Half-Life 3, bits and pieces of game, no structure, no story. I personally believe that we will get Half-Life 3 in 2015 and Left 4 Dead 3 in either late 2014 or early 2015. Number 8. The Elder Scrolls Online. Developed not by Bethesda Game Studio but by ZeniMax Online Studio, this multiplayer online RPG is set to release sometime in 2014 and has been in development for about 6 years. As with the other games in the Elder Scrolls franchise, this game will be set in the continent of Tamriel and feature a storyline indirectly connected with the other games. This game will be set a millennium before the events of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and around 800 years before the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind and the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, with the Daedric Prince Molag Bal appearing as the main antagonist as he attempts to pull all of Tamriel to his realm of Cold Harbor. The player will have the option of joining 3 factions warring over the throne of the Emperor of Tamriel, the Eldmeria Dominion, the Daggerfall Covenant, and the Ebonheart Pact. Number 7. Tomb Raider 2. Not much is known about Tomb Raider 2, but Square Enix, the developers of Tomb Raider, has confirmed a sequel to Tomb Raider is well into development for next generation consoles. It will be interesting to see where Lara Croft's next adventure will be, as some rumors suggest that the game will be taking place in an urban setting this time around. Number 6. Destiny. Created by the makers of Halo, Bungie's next adventure will be an action role-playing first-person shooter video game in a mythic science fiction open-world setting. The premise of Destiny is that following the collapse, a time where humanity almost went extinct after the failure of colonization throughout the solar system, the only known survivors of the collapse are those living on Earth, who are saved by the Traveler, a white, spherical celestial body whose appearance centuries before had enabled humans to reach the stars. The Traveler now hovers above the last remaining human city, and its presence allows the guardians of the city, the last defenders of the human race, the ability to wield an unknown power. Upon mankind's first attempt to repopulate and reconstruct after the collapse, it is discovered that the hostile alien races have occupied mankind's former colonies and civilizations, and are now encroaching upon the city. The player takes the role of a guardian of the city and is tasked with investigating and destroying these threats before humanity is completely wiped out. Number 5. Titanfall. Made by the former workers of Infinity Ward, Respawn Entertainment brings us a different take on the FPS genre with Titanfall, which is considered by many to be the possible Call of Duty killer. Players fight either on foot as free-running pilots or inside agile mech-style walkers called Titans, to complete team-based objective on a derelict and war-torn planet as either the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation (IMC) or the Militia. The game is online multiplayer only, but injects single-player elements such as plot, character chatter, and non-playable characters into its matches. Number 4. Watch Dogs. Many people consider this to be a futuristic-like Grand Theft Auto game, as the gameplay seems to be very similar to Rockstar's award-winning franchise. The storyline of Watch Dogs is built around the concept of information warfare, data being interconnected, and the world's increasing use of technology, questioning who exactly is running the computers they depend on. The game is set in an alternate reality version of Chicago, Illinois, which is one of the many cities to feature a supercomputer known as CETOS, Central Operating System. The system controls almost every piece of technology in the city and contains information on all the city's residents and activities, which can be used for various purposes. In the game's universe, the Northeast blackout of 2003 was found to be caused by a hacker, prompting the development of CETOS. Number 3. The Division. Inspired by Operation Dark Winter and Directive 51 real-world events which revealed how vulnerable we've become, society has become fragile and complex. In the game, a disease that spreads on Black Friday causes the United States to collapse in 5 days. The player is part of a group called Strategic Homeland Division, called the Division for short. This group has established to combat the threat and do whatever it takes to save what remains in a massive multiplayer online situation, putting them against friends, AI, and other players. Number 2. Star Wars Battlefront. Very little is known about this game, but being developed by DICE, the makers of Battlefield, many people, including myself, believe this will be the Star Wars game we've dreamt of. The game will be created using the Frostbite 3 engine and feature some of the elements that was in the first 2 Battlefront games. Plans are for this game to be released in Q2 or 3 of 2015, which correlates with the launch of the next Star Wars movie. The final spot of this top 25 goes to Fallout 4. A unique and diverse universe, Fallout 4 will be an action, role-playing, open-world video game set in Boston, Massachusetts, or known in the Fallout universe as the Commonwealth. In development by Bethesda Game Studio, the first true confirmation of Fallout 4's existence came when Kotaku obtained leaked voice acting documents which confirmed the setting of Massachusetts, and that this time around the player's character will actually be talking, voiced by both a male and female voice actor. It's expected that at E3 2014 or possibly before that, we will finally get an announcement or trailer for Fallout 4. Expect to see the title released sometime in late 2014 or 2015. Anyway, before I let you guys go, please hit that like button if you did enjoy the video or found it any bit informational, and share it with a friend if they need to know an outlook on gaming in 2014 to 2015. But I also want to reiterate that this top 25 is my personal opinion, and that I understand that not everyone will agree with me. But make sure you tell me what games you're looking forward to the most in the comment section below. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.